You probably think you're broke because you don't earn enough money. You look at your bank account and see a number that barely covers rent. You tell yourself that investing is a game for rich people in suits. You convince yourself that saving $5 today won't change your life at all. I am here to tell you that you are mathematically, objectively wrong. That $5 bill in your pocket is not just $5. To a trained investor, that $5 bill is a seed for a massive oak tree. Every time you spend it on something you don't need, you aren't spending $5. You are actually destroying thousands of dollars of your own future wealth. Most people walk through life burning money because they don't understand the fourth dimension. That fourth dimension is time, and it changes the value of everything you touch. Today, we are going to look at the hidden math behind small investments. I will show you why a teenager flipping burgers has more financial power than a doctor. We are going to unlock the mathematical secret that banks use to own the world. By the end of this video, you will never look at a cup of coffee the same way. The exponent of wealth. Let's strip away the fancy finance terms and look at the raw numbers. There is a specific formula that governs the entire universe of wealth creation. It is called the compound interest formula, and it looks like this on a blackboard. I equals 1 PO times 1 plus 2 to the power of 30 OU. Foremost people look at this equation and only focus on the P, or the principal. They think the only way to get a big result, is to have a big principal, P dive. This is the linear bias of the human brain working against you. Our brains are wired to think in straight lines, like hunting a deer in a field. But money does not grow in a straight line. It grows on a curve. Look closely at the little letter TDO in the top right corner of the equation. That little 5 stands for time, and it is an exponent, not a multiplier. 0.6 in mathematics. An exponent is significantly more powerful than any other variable in the equation. Let me prove it to you with a simple, mind-bending example. Imagine you have two choices for a paycheck this month. Option A is to receive $1 million in cash right now. Option B is a single magic penny that doubles in value every day for 30 days. Your linear brain screams at you to take the $1 million immediately. But let's run the math on that magic penny using the power of exponents. Your penny is only worth 16 cents. On day 10, you have $5.12 and you feel stupid. On day 20, you have $5,000, which is still far less than $1 million. But then, the exponential curve starts to go vertical, like a rocket taking off. On day 29, you have $2.6 million. On day 30, that magic penny is worth over $5 million. This is the hidden power that small investments have over huge sums of cash. The amount of money you start with matters far less than the time you give it. You might say that magic pennies don't exist in the real world. So let's use real market data and two fictional characters to prove the point. Meet Saver Sam, a successful doctor who starts making big money at age 40. Sam is disciplined and decides to invest $1,000 every single month. He puts this money into the S&P 500, which has historically returned about 10%. He does this religiously for 25 years until he retires at age 65. Now meet Investor Ivy, a broke college student who scrapes by on minimum wage. Ivy starts investing at age 20, but she can only afford $100 a month. She invests her tiny sum into the exact same index fund as Sam. She stops investing completely at age 30 after just 10 years of contributions. Sam invested a total of $300,000 of his own hard-earned cash. Ivy only invested a total of $12,000, a tiny fraction of Sam's effort. Logic tells us that Sam should be much richer because he saved way more money. But when we look at their bank accounts at age 65, the math is shocking. Saver Sam retires with approximately $1.2 million in his account. But investor Ivy, who barely saved anything, retires with over $1.5 million. She has $300,000 more than Sam, despite doing 90% less work. How is this physically possible without robbing a bank or winning the lottery? It happened because Ivy's money had 45 years to compound, while Sam's only had 25. Those extra 20 years allowed her interest to earn interest on its own interest. Sam tried to use brute force and a high salary to catch up, but he failed. You cannot outwork the mathematical force of compound interest, no matter how hard you try. This proves that waiting until you have enough money is the most expensive mistake you can make. If the math is so simple, why isn't everyone a millionaire by age 60? The problem isn't the math. The problem is the biological hardware in your skull. Humans suffer from a cognitive bias called hyperbolic discounting. This is a fancy way of saying we value immediate pleasure much more than future happiness. To your caveman brain, a pizza today is real, but retirement is imaginary. When you spend $50 on a dinner, you get a hit of dopamine instantly. When you invest $50, you feel a sense of loss and pain. You feel like you are throwing your money into a black hole. This pain of paying prevents you from locking up your money for decades. Your brain invents excuses to protect you from this pain. You say things like, "I'll start investing when I get a raise." Or you say, "I need to enjoy my life while I am still young." These are comforting lies that justify stealing from your future self. Every time you choose the immediate purchase, you are prioritizing a stranger over yourself. You are essentially telling your future self that they don't matter. We need to hack this psychology by changing how we view small amounts of money. You need to stop viewing investing as saving and start viewing it as buying freedom. When you buy a share of stock, you are buying a tiny employee. This employee works 24 hours a day, never sleeps, and never asks for a raise. Even a $5 investment buys you a small fraction of a worker. Over time, you build an army of these workers who pay for your lifestyle. Once you visualize your money as little soldiers, the pain of investing disappears. So, how do we actually execute this strategy without needing willpower? The secret is to remove your human brain from the equation entirely. You must automate your small investments so you never even see the money. If the money hits your checking account, you will find a way to spend it. You need to set up an automatic transfer the day your paycheck arrives. It doesn't matter if it is only $20 a week. That $20 is enough to buy a fractional share of the total stock market. By buying the whole market, you eliminate the risk of picking a losing company. You are betting on the productivity of the entire human race, which always goes up. As your dividends come in, you must automatically reinvest them back into the machine. This creates a snowball effect, where your wealth builds momentum on its own. The first few years will feel slow, like pushing a boulder uphill. You will look at your account and feel like nothing is happening. But you must remember the graph of the magic penny we talked about earlier. You are in the flat part of the curve, preparing for the vertical launch. The rich are not smarter than you. They just started earlier and stayed consistent. You have the power to unlock this wealth today, right now, with whatever is in your pocket. Don't wait for the perfect time, because the perfect time was yesterday. The second best time is right now.